Hello, in this video I will show you how to save and load parameter files in VieVS as well as process lists. This is useful if you have a specific way of doing things for your study. As I noted in the earlier videos, the default settings might be reasonable choices for a very basic analysis of VLBI sessions. But it's often required that for your specific analysis or your specific scientific goal, you need to use different models or a different way of estimating parameters. In VieVS, it is possible to save your parameters in order to be able to load them next time you start VieVS. This is a very efficient way to make sure that you always use exactly the same parameters. Let's have a look at how this works. Let's assume that for your study, for some reasons, you want to change the parameters. For example, you always want to use the finals Earth orientation time series as a priori. And maybe you want to estimate your Earth orientation parameters with a very high frequency. So we go to estimation least squares Earth orientation parameters. By default, you would estimate the EUPs daily with very tight constraints. Effectively, this results in one estimated offset per session. Maybe you want to change it for your study to be very high frequently estimated. Let's say every hour with loose constraints. Every time you start VieVS, you could either change these parameters by hand, or you can now go ahead and say file, parameter file, and save parameters as. And now you can give it a name, for example, high frequency Earth orientation parameter. As you can see, this is by default stored in the parameters folder here in the work directory. And you can also see there are a lot of predefined parameters that we are regularly using. Let's save this parameter for now. Next time you would start VieVS, you would be able to load these parameters again. After VieVS is loaded, let's simply go to File, Parameters file, Load Parameters, and now you can select your high frequency Earth orientation parameter file. Now it's loaded and we can check that the EUP model is really the finals model and the Earth orientation parameters are really now estimated every hour. So this is a great way to ensure that you always use the same parameters and you don't make any errors. Likewise, it's possible, or it's often the case, that you want to analyze a specific set of sessions, for example, the cont sessions. You can either select the cont sessions every time via the file set input file and browse for VieGusDB button, or you can create a process list and load the process list directly. But to create a process list, first you have to find the cont17 sessions. A nice tool that helps you is the VieVS VLBI Schedule Master. On this web page, you see a list of all the VieVS VLBI sessions. The cont17 session was in the year 2017. If we scroll down, we can see that cont17 started end of November for 2 weeks. There were two networks, the XA and the XB network. Now that we know which sessions belong to cont17, we can go to VieVS, browse for VieGusDB, and select them from the 2017 folder. So it was end of November, the XA sessions, and December until December 12th. Now I have added all the Cont17 sessions to my process list. I can now click on Done and it's added here. Now I can go to File, Parameter File, Save Process List as, and give it a name, for example, Cont17XA, and save it. It's now stored in the process list folder in the work directory. If I restart VieVS again, maybe in the following day, and I want to continue with my work, I can now simply go to File, Set Input File, and browse for process list, and there should be my Cont17 session list. I can open it and immediately have all the Cont17 sessions loaded in VieVS. And now I can click on Save and Run again and process the sessions again. That's everything from this video. I hope this is useful to you, and in the next video we will again explore more features of VieVS.